that I wear for those, but it's.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speaker Spotlight. I'm Jim Kellner, co-organizer of the Pacific Northwest Hypnotist. Joining me, as always, my good friend, my partner in crime, co-organizer, Anthony Gitch. Hello, Anthony.
Hello, and it's the Pacific Northwest Hypnosis Conference.
What did I say?
So the Pacific Northwest Hypnotist, which we all are.
Right.
But we are a conference as well. Come on, Jim.
That's right.
Come on.
Hypnosis Conference. Today we're joined by one of our speakers, one of our business speakers, which I'm super excited about because we're doing something that I don't think any other conference does, and that's actually bringing in working professionals from marketing and business and law that do that work every day, all day long. We're bringing them in to teach us how to do it better in our businesses. Everyone, please welcome Stephen Lentz.
Awesome. Well, Jim, Anthony, thank you. Appreciate being here and the opportunity to speak to your audience, and hopefully my best will be good for them.
Fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, Jim and I discussed a lot about this stuff, and you were actually recommended by another person who's like, I've heard this guy's podcast. He's amazing. You guys need to get in touch with him. And we did, and you were generous enough to give us your time and your expertise because, you do a lot of amazing stuff. How did you get into the business that you do? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I would do my best to give you the abridged version. So I was a firefighter for 10 plus years now. That's now done. But when I first got hired, I was on for about a year and a half. They didn't have money for me, so I was let go with another guy and then got off into the department shortly after. I was with them for a year and a half and again was back out. It's like, this is wild. Like the pseudo government job that should be around forever, stability, pension, right? Like put in my 30 years and then I can retire. The security factor just got destroyed. And so I did fix and flip real estate. I sold life insurance over the phone. I sold Kirby vacuums door to door for a hot minute. Like it was awful.
So did I.
Just
for about 10 minutes.
That's the first day when they take you around the white vans and drop you off. It's like 9 p.m. and I'm knocking on this apartment door. I'm like, he's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm like, I am ashamed of myself.
Thank you so much for helping cover the dirt on top of it.
Yeah, it's just awful. I was like, I'm not going back. Like, so, but then I was like, I started a bunch of different things and realized that it didn't work out because I sucked at marketing. Right. That's not something you want to hear from the guy who's talking about marketing. You're like, this guy said he sucks, but I did. And so I was like, I need to get good at this. And so I spent all the money I had and didn't have on all the different courses and products and everything to learn about digital marketing and got good at it over the course of probably like 3 to 4 years. And then the department calls back to go, hey, we have money. Do you want to come back? And I was like, well, of course. Like I love picking grandma up off the floor and cutting kids at cars. Why wouldn't I come back? Right. Because you're like, how do you get 10 years? So far I counted up 3. This is how, right? So I go back in. And now I went from young and single to married with 2 kids, and research is coming out like, hey, so, all the smoke and stuff, it's really bad for you. And, firefighters live 5 to 10 years after retirement and then they're kind of gone and death comes for you. I was like, oh, I want kids and grandkids and great grandkids. Like the legacy of what I want for my life has shifted from I'm here for a good time, not a long time, to I want to be around and be part of the family. Right. And like pour into my kids and be like, hey, I want to help you grow in this weird world and be a good presence for people, and like have grandkids come over and do things and get all philosophical with you guys. Right. Like, but I was like, my values have shifted. And so I was like, I need to work myself out of this. And I was like, well, what do I know? I went back to marketing. So I started doing that up on the side a little bit. And then COVID came through. And I got COVID, and spoiler, I survived, right? Here I am. But they said, hey, you have to have this vaccine or you can't be here anymore. It's like, well, I've already had it. Like I'm going to COVID houses. The risk factor is greater for having it than not having it now for myself. Like, I don't think that's right. I'm like, well, right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You have to have it or not. And I was like, well, I'm choosing not. And they go, well, and see you later. So that was my exodus. It wasn't that I didn't necessarily have anything to fall back on because I've been working that way, but it's not how I wanted to leave. Right. So that's been just over a year ago now, of January 30th. I describe myself as a principled asshole and chose my principles over a paycheck. And, not that like you do you, right? Like I'm
right.
You should or shouldn't take it. Like I did my research and pros and cons and said this wasn't for me. So that's kind of the long and short of my journey into marketing where I'm at.
Seattle, I think, was one of the Washington State, I think, was one of the few states that actually said, not that it has anything to do with the conference, but one of the few states that actually said that, yeah, firefighters, paramedics, all those people was an absolute requirement in order for you to keep your jobs. That's right.
Yeah. It was hard. And I mean, our department was super small, right? Like I was one of 18 people. There's two other people that agreed with me, but felt the pressure and got the vaccine that didn't want it. And there's, other departments with hundreds of
Yeah,
people that have,
everybody's
50 to
got
100 that
their,
said no, and they were able to keep their jobs. So it's just that, my support network didn't exist within that
well,
ecosystem. But
yeah, and I mean, everybody had a right to do what it is was best for them. But at any
yeah,
rate, so that took you into full time of the digital marketing
it
thing.
did.
You know,
Yeah.
you do the podcast as well.
Hmm.
I too am a podcaster, so is Jim. And so, all of that stuff combined, you now have taken that into something much bigger than I think that you even thought you were going to be able to do. Is that true?
No, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I never set out being like, hey, I'm gonna, own a business and then step into bigger roles and have employees and all these different things. Like that just wasn't on my radar. But just the natural evolution of life and values, and right, hopefully we all continue to grow as people. Right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where I've ended up.
Hey,
Cool.
what's the name of your podcast, by the way?
It's called Subject to Change.
Cool. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. That's
I
right in line
know,
with
huh?
with
Well,
what
I
we do
mean,
too.
so when I went on to Anchor, and I was like, I just need a free podcast hosting thing. And I typed in business with Steven. I was like, that's really gross and lame and boring. Like it's subject to change. And I laughed. I was like, yeah, subject to change. Why not? So I just renamed it, and that's what it was. Because you have to have a name when you create it. You can't be like, save it for later.
Hey, Steven, what are you going to be teaching us at the conference?
Yeah. Well, my goal is to help people understand how SEO and showing up on Google works, and then kind of what I do and why that works. So that way you can help emulate to the best of your ability, or figure out how to make effective marketing. Right? Marketing costs something, because people are like, oh, I do stuff on Facebook and that's free. I was like, well, that's really not. Like,
It's not, because they keep changing the fucking algorithms and no one can see your shit anyway. Excuse me, but
no, that's good. It's not free. It's only free if you don't value your time. If your time is worthless, then it's free.
Right.
Right? Marketing has a cost, and it's either time or money.
yeah.
If you're like, oh, Instagram or LinkedIn or TikTok, or like, it's not free. It costs, like, what are you paying yourself? Are you $30 an hour and you're spending 5 hours to make a post?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of money, right? Like you're not doing ad spend, but the cost is huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is exactly why I wanted to have someone like you come around, because as a hypnotist, Jim and I, we know all of these other people who are out there talking about hypnotic businesses and this sort of things. And they share things that are similar, but what we're trying to get out there are let's get it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Let's not get it from someone who's learning it from you and then regurgitating it. I can do that. I mean, I've taken the digital marketing classes from Digital Marketeer online. It's a freaking amazing company, which has helped me greatly. But I'd rather be taught from someone who's actually doing it every single day. And that's why we have you coming in. And so we are super excited about what you're going to be able to deliver, where others are missing out, because the little things that someone just might miss out on because it's not something that they do on a regular basis.
No, I appreciate that. And I know I signed up for I think it's like an hour slot, and
Yeah.
I'll probably be like that, I've never done really public speaking before, but as I'm thinking about, like, I could probably fill like 4 hours of like getting into things. So there's probably a lot of stuff that I will reference and be like, I wish I could tell you more, but it's just not going to happen. But, like, maybe we might get into social media marketing, why those clients are so different from showing up on Google, right? Like,
oh yeah, people don't understand. There is a huge difference between what you're going to find on Facebook, even what you're going to find between Facebook and Pinterest. Those are not the same people that are going and utilizing those platforms, right? And people don't know how to change their message enough to get to the person that they don't even know how to create a damn YouTube thumbnail the right way.
Yeah. Well, the client themselves are so different. So when you go onto Facebook, those clients are entertainment seekers, right? You're hoping that your ad shocks them enough that they take the 2 seconds to stop scrolling and read it and be like, oh, that looks interesting. But even the majority of those people that click on that are just curiosity, like tire kickers, right? They're just We'll see, maybe, who knows? And they'll sign up for it because it's free, and then they'll never show up because they value it the same amount they paid for it, which is nothing.
Right.
Whereas when people go and find you on Google and they're looking for hypnosis to stop smoking, like that's someone who's on the journey with a credit card out looking for someone to solve their problem. And so the place that you find a client is so different and is so important. And the way that you structure that in those messages as well. And here we go, right? Like, here's my TED Talk.
Right.
But that's
well,
yeah,
pretty good.
that's where we're going.
I got to tell you too, and this is just my own thinking, but like Stephen has no vested interest in keeping me the secrets for himself because he's not a hypnotist, right? So if you're learning this from me and I'm teaching you stuff, I might keep a couple secrets, you know. So
well, thanks, Jim.
Jim's over here hoarding knowledge like a dragon.
That's right. Hey, I'm so looking forward to meeting you and you know, check out his the podcast. Again, it's Subject to Change, Stephen Lentz. And anything else, Anthony?
Well, Stephen, what's your website address again?
Gosh, it's Ocelot Traffic, but I just searched it and it said it has a critical error and it's not showing up. So if it doesn't show up for you, hopefully it will be there in the near future sometime. But it's Ocelot.
I knew it was something that had to do with a feline.
That's right. The little cat, that's actually a big cat. I've got on my Tumblr here.
Oh, right. Yeah. Ocelots are cool.
They're cool.
Traffic. Great. All right. Thanks, Stephen. Looking forward to that. And hey, I hope you all are looking forward to checking out Stephen's talk. Make more money, affect change in more people. And so again, I'm Jim Kellner. I'm here with Anthony Gitch, Stephen Lentz. And please go get your tickets now before the price goes up.
That's right.
We want to make sure that you get the lowest price possible. I mean, I want you to pay full price, but Anthony's kind. He wants you to get those tickets now. All right. So anyway, go to PNW Hypnosis Conference.com, June 3rd and 4th in Tacoma, Washington at the Greater Tacoma Convention Center. We'll see you there.
Bye, everybody.